In our last video, we looked at about half of the advanced fields in a form called Frankenstein. In this video, we're going to look at the other half of the advanced fields, and I've already made a new form called Frankenstein 2. The description is Return of the Torches, but you can't see that. So let's go through the list here. There's a rich text field, which is very similar to a paragraph field, except it comes with all of these cool buttons. Now, this is the HTML tab. It also has a visual tab, which makes it a lot more like Microsoft Word. Under Advanced, it has the usual settings, field size. Rows is important. Rows is something you get with paragraph fields. I'm going to update and preview this right now because I want you to see the visual option. Put in theme. So here it is in visual, and it's got all the normal things. If you're familiar with WordPress, this is just the WordPress editor. It's got the kitchen sink here, so you can do all kinds of things. And you can switch to text, and you get this kind of interface. There's the Return of the Torches. So the next one is a time field. And it's actually just a very intelligent set of drop-down lists. Let's update and preview real quick. Theme. So you can choose 12 through 11, 0 or 30, AM or PM. And then under the settings, you can set the time range. So by default, it's a 24-hour range, stepped in 30 minutes. So that's why there was just 0 and 30. You could do 15, update, reload this, and you get 0, 15, 30, and 45. And if you put in a 1, you could choose 4:08 a.m. or something like that. The next one is a star rating, and it's just exactly what you'd expect. You can choose how many stars get set to rate something. Click here, and maximum rating is 5. You could go up to as many as you want, really. 5 is a standard. 10 is a second standard. I don't recommend going too far out either of those. Under advanced is just the regular default value and field description. If we update, reload, you can see, and you can, there, I've clicked it. It's a 4-star. Now it's a 3-star. Now it's 5-star. We're going to leave it at 5 because Formidable is awesome. Next, we have a toggle, and it's just on or off. And by default, you have labels of yes. Active label is yes. Inactive label is no. You could set these to anything you want. You could make them colors, red or blue, green and white, maize and blue. You may know I'm from Michigan if you know those colors. But it's very similar to having a radio button set of yes or no. So you would ask a question here. You like bacon? Turn it on like that and off for no. Our next one is a lookup. And similar to dynamic from the other one, lookup can be very, very powerful. It can be used to make cascading choices. So, for example, if you need to pick a car from a list, you would have a drop-down list of make, and you could choose Ford. And then the model list would update itself to have only Ford cars. It works very much like the dynamic one, where you have to choose where you're getting your data from, and then how it's sorted. But once you get your options set here, you can do that kind of cascading things where it changes the contents of the form based on the choices that the end user makes. You have to get your options from another form, and then from within that form, another field. So I don't have the other form set up, so we're not going to go all the way through it. But it is very much like the dynamic one. So once you've got some other form, so you've got a form full of cars or something, then it's relatively easy to set up. The next one is a section. And all a section does is group other fields with a title. This could be a replacement for page break. If you don't want to have multiple pages, you want to have a long form, but you want to have your fields logically grouped. You could call this personal information, and it makes a section there. I'm going to skip a little ahead and use the address field and put it in there. So now we update and reload. We have this section called personal information full of fields that are personal information. And then if you're doing a financial application, you could have financial information and do another bunch of fields. So sections allow you to group fields. You can embed a form, and you pick another form, and it will put it right inside this one. And there it is. This can be useful if you have form fragments that you use regularly, and you just want to assemble new forms from all those fragments. Then you can do that with the embed form. I'm actually going to remove that one because it takes up so much space. And then lastly is tags. Tags allow you to make tags. So I'm going to have to show you because it's kind of hard to describe. We reload, go to the bottom. Here's tags. So I have WordPress, comma, CMS, comma, what you see is what you get. And these tags can get imported into a post. So if you have your form set up to put its data into a post, these tags will go into the tags for that post. So it is exactly like the WordPress tags system. And we've already looked at address. Now, I want to look at it again because we didn't look at it very deeply. One of the options is international. So by default, it includes a country field. So you could say United States or Europe or other exclude country field, and it will get rid of that country field. There are quite a few advanced options. You can put placeholders in each field. And so there's a default value, a placeholder, and a description for each field. Because it basically is just a collection of text fields. It just allows you to drop them in all at once. Now, one caveat, if you're a developer, if you make individual fields by hand to make an address set, then you will have that information available as individual pieces of data. If you use this field, what you get at the other end is an array. So if you try to put this information into a post type and you want the individual bits of information into individual custom meta fields, it's very difficult using this address box. So you may want to just build your own using text fields, which works just fine. This is just for convenience. Let's take a look here at the pricing fields as well. In fact, I'm going to make a new section called pricing field. So let's put in a product. And it can be drop down, radio buttons, checkbox, single product, or user defined. And by default, the product options are radio buttons. So we will put in a product name of a cow. The price is 1 because it's going to be 1 bean, of course. Product 2, sheep, and sheep are worth 2 beans. So let's update, and we'll go look at our form. Cow and sheep. There they are. So you can choose them that way. Then we have quantity. Number range 0 to 99999, stepping of 1. So let's say up to 5 because we don't want a ton. You can do placeholder text, field size, etc. And then we're going to add a total field. And there are no additional settings that we want to make for this. So we hit update. All right. A cow is 1 bean. A sheep is 2. You'll note that my total changed to $2. If I want 2 sheep, it's $4, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My bean analogy was bad. I'm sorry. We'll use dollars. So using these pricing fields, you can set up a product, a quantity field, and then how much it costs. And then if you have the appropriate add-on, which we've not gotten to yet, you can use something like PayPal or anything you want to actually allow people to check out and buy those things. In our next video, we will take a look at some of the additional settings that the Pro version comes with, because there are quite a few.